Igbo socio-cultural organization Ohanaeze Ndigbo says the People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar will never become Nigeria's president. Now, the group made a remark while denouncing the party's presidential primary that produced Atiku as the party's presidential candidate. It referred to the election as an, quote, erratic and corrupt process that was overseen by the unpatriotic northerners against the southern part of the country. End of quote. Now, according to Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Igbos will rise against Atiku, adding that his presidential campaign will be rejected in the southeast. It knows that the PDP had been reduced to a northern party amidst other very strong words. Well, we had to get someone from the diaspora to help us understand the intrigues that's going on, especially the grievances of that region, the southeast region, and I'm now being joined from the United Kingdom by Tochukwu Ezeoke, who is a political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us, Tochukwu. Well, what's been your assessment of the presidential primary election of the main opposition party, the PDP, so far?
Well, thank you very much, my host, for having me. I must start by saying that it is quite for many of us, it is quite unfortunate because this is a party that the Southeast has supported since 1999. So over 23 years, the Southeasterners have given their best to this party. That when it came to the point of making minor concession that is enshrined in their constitution, and suddenly the goalpost was shifted. As if we all, as if we are all not here when the Southeast in mass voted for the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Gone ahead, did the same thing for bless his soul, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and also gone ahead to do that for Goodluck Jonathan. Then when everyone would then consider that this is the time for the Southeast to present one of their best and present couple people actually that are the best. And sadly, the way the governor of Ebonyi State had predicted it, the reason why he left PDP was that they were not ready to give an Igbo person or someone from the Southeast extraction the opportunity to do so. Now today he's been that actually there was no intention for the PDP to give anyone from the Southeast that. Because if not, why would you suddenly, if you've been zoning out all this year long, why would you then suddenly now stop zoning? Because it's come to the turn of the people that maybe you consider that they're not worthy to have that position.
Yeah. In analyzing the geopolitics of the country, some of the critics of the Southeast will say that politicians from the Southeast are not being fair to the People's Democratic Party. That people like Pius Ayim contested the election. So if he contested, would it be right to actually say that no one from the Southeast was given a fair opportunity to emerge?
Well, I don't think the argument is not having anyone from the Southeast to contest. But the argument is that in your constitution, from the onset, you have that power rotates between the North and the South. Now, and you know that if power comes down to the South, that the Southeast has a very strong reason to put up in the table where you have the other two Souths. That is the South and the Southeast. The brothers, we've supported you, be it the Southwest. We supported you, be it the South, the South. But can you then please give us your support with the support of others? Then we will make this happen. Now, of course, Anyim is there. Of course, Dr. Tochukwu Ezeoke was there, and Mazi Sambo. Yes, these are eminent Igbo that were also there. But the question is, why change the goalpost in the middle of the game? And that's why some of us are ill. And, we say, and there is no missing word. That is, for me and for many of us, the death of PDP in the South. Because, that is the joke taken too far.
What do you make of the candidacy of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I mean, in 2018, 2019, when he emerged, he tried to assuage the feelings of the Southeast by bringing a running mate from that axis. He's married to someone from the Southeast way up until recently, and all of that. I mean, we've seen some prominent Igbo leaders, including Ben Obi, who are interviewed on Saturday at the convention ground, always been with Atiku Abubakar. Is Atiku no longer the friend of the Southeast?
Well, I think you would not, let's be fair here, you wouldn't have a friend without friend. Someone is your friend, given Atiku, was considered the friend to Ndigbo. But when it came to the turn of Ndigbo, what one expected of him was to honestly shelve the ambition. Yes, so many people, so many commentators have said that he's become a serial contestant since 1992 when he contested against late Moshood Abiola. Now, when you juxtapose that to age, and you juxtapose that to to the younger generation understanding what they stand for, and one will begin to think, I mean, it's honestly, I do not have any personal grudges with him. I do not have any issue with him. But what I want to say to us is that it sounds awkward that he will be the same person to be used to upsurge and upset what is happening. And it drives the narrative. It drives the narrative that a Fulani man is planning to hand over to a Fulani man. When we come to the to the APC, we will begin to elaborate that. But one thing that we then do is, if this narrative that is very divisive, if this narrative that is then overtaking all the social media, all the social media places, be it on WhatsApp, Facebook, everywhere, if that narrative is not going to stick, the APC must then, must at this point utilize the opportunity to take away and correct that which the PDP has actually, it's a golden opportunity, actually. I look at it this way. Now, Atiku has come. It is now an opportunity for the APC to say, fine, let us then get someone from the Southeast where you have, where you have them also in the APC, and let that individual now come in and deliver the APC, to the Nigerian people come 2023.
So within the political sphere now, you are very optimistic that the APC can present maybe Governor David Umahi or any other of the Southeast contestants like Rorocha Sokorocha as the presidential candidate of the party. How feasible is this?
If we want to drill it down to, and we want to begin to mention names, Rocha Sokorocha, as you all know, court today, because of the case he has with the EFCC, has denied him bail. Now, who again is in the race? We have Obonnionu, and we have the former minister, of
education,
State for Petroleum. Yes, and also we have Minister, Emeka as well. We have Minister of State for Education. Now, the question is, who amongst these men can you look and say, if Ndigbo want to give their best 11 in terms of track record, in terms of what have done in the APC, there is no other man that comes close when it comes to that. If you say, Ndigbo, give us your first 11, and the APC is concerned, there is no other person than the governor of Ebonyi State, Governor David Umahi.
And why would you prefer Umahi to Emeka Nwajuba, Rocha Sokorocha, and all of that? What stands him out?
I think when it comes to that, without being cheeky, I would say the the Imo people would we can see the record of Sokorocha in Imo, then we will know how that will then test, at the center. Now, Nwachuba, I think, well, he's good, he's young, but again, there is a level of experience. What Nigeria needs now, you with me that Nigeria lacks in infrastructure. In all these men, even outside the Southeast, no one comes close to what is happening in Ebonyi. I call it revolution. I'm speaking from experience. I was in Ebonyi 3 weeks ago. I'll take you down the journey. I took my time to go to the Ebonyi State shopping mall. If you're kidnapped, hypothetically here speaking, and brought in there and told you are in Nigeria, you tell the person you are joking, because it is something like out of this world. I left the Ebonyi State shopping mall and I headed to the King's David University of Medical Sciences. And I thought to myself, why is it that a state that receives so little is building something like this here? And it's, personally, I equated it to lightening up a candle and keeping it on, under the bed. Because what I saw personally, I'm not saying what someone told me. I'm not saying what I saw in report. I had to report it myself because what I saw was mind-blowing. Then I asked this question. Ebonyi State, for many people who is one of the least indebted states. That is the fourth least indebted state in Nigeria. That's not magic. That didn't just fall from the sky.
All right. As we try to round off this conversation, I know how passionate you are now talking about this, where we're talking of national politics and the acceptability of someone from any part of the country, but you are being specific about the Southeast now. Why do you think, why are you so optimistic of the Southeast having someone emerging in the APC when we see Governor Hope Uzodinma and Oji Uzor Kalu, for example, all working for Ahmed Lawan, who comes from the northeast of the country? Aren't you losing it out again in the PDP, just like it happened, in the APC, like it happened in the PDP?
Well, again, it comes down to what I said before. If the current government want to kill the perception that after 8 years of someone from the northwest in this nation, that we are going to, by ethnic nomenclature, give it back to a Fulani. That perception, as long as the southern Nigeria is concerned, is not something good. Now, if you look at that trajectory, Atiku is from, it's also Fulani in this case, then it's going to be, we are going to be having from the two main political parties. Hence, for me personally, and I'm saying, not only that when I talk about, for instance, the case of Dave Umahi in the APC, I'm not only talking about Dave Umahi because he's from the Southeast, but we need to know a little is given to you, and someone was able to, he was able to make lemonade from the lemon given to him. Of course, to him who much is given, much is expected. But here is a man that little was given. He's done much with it. Then did that mean if on a national pedestal, what do you think? What Nigeria need is that we must move quickly to get Nigeria to become a construction site, the type that one sees in Ebonyi State, and anyone who is in doubt should visit Ebonyi State.
Well, I'm asking you this question because if you look at the political realities in the APC, it looks like the chances of the Southeast are also dimming. Because here you have Governor David Umahi from Ebonyi State, and you have Ogbonnaya Onu from Ebonyi State too. So contesting, and then you have Emeka Nwajuba there, and then of course Rochas Okorocha and all of that. Why is it difficult for people from the Southeast to have a united front? I know the Republican history of the Southeast, but haven't you from the Southeast learned enough lessons to be able to present just one or two that can fight alongside other parts of Nigeria?
Well, I do not, as the Ohanaeze President, Professor George Obiozor once said, it is anti-thema to talk of presenting only one person. Now, let's talk about in the PDP election, convention that happened over the weekend. We had Tamboa there, we had Bala Mohammed there, we had Atiku Abubakar there. I mean, you had other people also from same region there. Now, why is it that when it comes to the, that other Igbos have interest, then we'll be talking about the question of concession or no concession. But I think what then probably will happen is that before the convention, I envisage where these gentlemen would basically speak to themselves to say, guys, we know each person's pedigree. Let's probably work together. But I think, as you saw, that Tambuwal stepped down for Atiku Abubakar, which gave him edge, that he won Governor Wike. I see that something like that may actually happen. I mean, these are lessons to be learned. But I think if given the opportunity, of course, the Southeast will produce one of the best Nigeria ever seen.
Okay, sorry, I've just been told my time is up, but I won't go without asking you this. Do you regard Governor Nyesom Wike as being part of at least a larger definition of the Igbo nation beyond boundaries of the Southeast geographical zone? Because I hear some people still congratulating him that, well, somehow, with his affinity to the Southeast, that it looks like the Southeast has still made some points, despite that geographically it comes from the South-South.
Well, the Nyesom Wike is from the Old Eastern region. When it comes to his ancestry, I do not want to impose any ancestry on anyone. He has said it time without number that he is not Igbo, but he is Igbo, and I do respect that he is that. And whatever identity he chose to be, and so be it. But myself, I am Igbo and unapologetically so.
All right, very interesting submission. Tochukwu Ezeoke is a policy analyst and strategist and social commentator. He's been joining us from London in the United Kingdom to help us understand the complexities, bringing a view from the diaspora. We must thank you for joining us on the Arise interview. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Sumner Sambo.